How's it going, guys? So, as you guys are probably already aware of, chapter 123 of Tokyo Ghoul Re is not coming out this week. We're going to be on hiatus due to Golden Week in Japan. So, we have this little break right now in between chapters 122 and 123. So, I thought that this was going to be the perfect opportunity just to speculate and just have a discussion video with you guys, basically just to talk about what could pop up and what could happen in this upcoming chapter of Tokyo Ghoul Re, because right now I have the last page, the last panel of chapter 122 up on my screen right now, and that whole cliffhanger that we got with Mutsuki showing up to Cafe Ri, confronting Kaneki at the front door, and basically saying to him, "Senpai," with the heart emoji in there, you already know that something bad is going to be happening in this upcoming chapter, because the conversation arc that we kind of have been having with a lot of our characters has been very happy, and a lot of the characters, have talked to one another, kind of like mended old wounds, and everything right now is good between a lot of these characters. And this is Tokyo Ghoul. This is a tragedy. So we already know that something bad is going to be happening further on down the road, but we might be getting it sooner rather than later, just with this last confrontation with Mutsuki, Kaneki, and Touka being in the same room together. And we already know, from what we learned about Mutsuki over these last few arcs of her true character, what has lied beneath the surface, and the lie that Mutsuki has basically been showing us until the true nature of Mutsuki's character has come into light, is that she is batshit crazy right now, and she is basically embracing right now her feminine side, and it's all due to her love for Heise, and right now she wants to have sex with Heise and then just cut off his head, just kind of like a praying mantis, and then just kill Touka, because it's the battle of the waifus at this point. Like, Kaneki right now is caught between Touka, who has finally kind of admitted her romantic feelings towards Kaneki, but then also Mutsuki right now confessed her love and then just ended up brutally vandalizing that body. So we already know where these two characters stand, and the main topic, I think, for a lot of people within the fandom right now is Touka versus Mutsuki. And it's not just even within the manga itself. I think it's with fans in general, because when you put these two characters up against one another, it's either your team Touka or your team Mutsuki, and I find that completely funny and ridiculous. Like, I love both of these characters for completely different reasons, and just having them right now in the same room just leaves a lot of possibilities left on the table for where Ishida could take this next chapter, and whether or not that this is actually going to conclude in this next chapter we're going to be getting. It could span the next 3 chapters. We have no idea. So, I want to just make this video where we can just go over the possibilities of what could happen with this confrontation of Mutsuki showing up and having Kaneki and Touka within the presence of now a very deranged and unhinged Mutsuki. Because you also got to remember, Kaneki has not seen Mutsuki since she or he got captured during the Rue Island arc and then got tortured by Torso. So there's a lot of unknown things for Kaneki right now, and something like Mutsuki right now could catch him off guard, and it could actually backfire with him where he could possibly get injured during this little confrontation. So let's just dive right into this. And I have one major theory right now that, after sitting on this chapter for a little bit and just thinking about the possibilities, there is a wild card that a lot of people probably aren't even realizing could show up with Mutsuki, because Mutsuki right now does have a partner in crime that has been built up over these past few chapters, and of course I'm talking about Aura. What if, because we actually don't know if Mutsuki arrived alone to Cafe Ri to, confront Kaneki / Heise. So what if she actually has Aura with him, and we're going to actually have a Kaneki and Touka versus a Mutsuki and Aura showdown, depending on how this confrontation is going to go. And it's very interesting to note as well, because Aura is very interesting right now, because he started out as this shy, timid, and very soft-spoken individual amongst the new QS that got introduced. But then, as he's kind of gone through the chapters, through some arcs, he's gotten a little bit more sinister, and especially with what has happened with his aunt when Kaneki tried to help all of his friends escape Cochlea, and what happened to her, he's gotten a little bit more sinister and holds this grudge towards Kaneki, or / Heise as he knows him by. And he was actually really, really excited with the fact that, Heise got exterminated when Furuta basically showed it in front of all of CCG. And you could go back to those panels, you see him having this evil smirk on his face. So we know that right now Aura is going down a dark path, and having Mutsuki as a mentor, bringing him along that path, just spells bad news right there. So what if there is a possibility that Mutsuki did not arrive to Cafe Ri alone, on, and we actually get to see Aura pop up right behind Mutsuki in the next chapter that comes up. So I think that would be something that kind of just throws a little curveball into this little meetup between Kaneki and Mutsuki. So I want to know from you guys if you guys think that this is like possible at all, and I would not be surprised in the slightest too if it's just Mutsuki that just arrived on her own. So that's one theory that I'm like tossing around right now, just waiting for the next chapter to come out. But I also have a few possibilities that I also wrote down about how this whole meetup could possibly go down between them, because I have about 5 possibilities written down right now, and I'll just go through them very quickly because I just want to get the conversation started on what are the possibilities for chapter 123. So my first possibility is I think has a 0.01% chance of ever happening, because Tokyo Ghoul is a tragedy, and for something good to come out of this, I could not see that happening in the slightest, and that being that nothing bad is going to happen with Mutsuki showing up and just talking with Kaneki and Touka at Cafe Ri. It's very unlikely, and just having Mutsuki there alone, you know that shit is about to go down, and I don't think she has the willpower to maintain a cool and calm composure in front of Kaneki, and especially if Touka comes back to the front and reveals, you know, that like right now Kaneki is basically hanging out with Touka, that's gonna like unleash the yandere persona that Mutsuki has kind of been displaying with how she just wants to keep Kaneki all to herself, and she's willing to kill not only Kaneki himself, but possibly everyone else around him. So it's going to be very interesting, but I find that as very, very unlikely. But my second possibility is basically a fight is going to break out, but no one gets injured. And this could happen in the best case scenario possible, where Kaneki realizes that Mutsuki is now a little bit unhinged and isn't the same Mutsuki that he has come to know during the earlier parts of Tokyo Ghoul Ri. A fight breaks out, he finally comes to this realization, you know, he ends up blocking all of the attacks that when, you know, it has like Mutsuki maybe even professing her love for Heise, and even Touka comes into battle as well. But in the end result, no one gets injured, Kaneki and Touka end up escaping, and then Mutsuki is just left there kind of like probably even more deranged and just probably like shouting Heise's name or Kaneki's name and just basically going back to the chateau and then just like going from there and maybe like interacting with the rest of the queues. This has limitless possibilities, so that's my number 2 possibility right now. But the third one goes along the same lines, where a fight breaks out, but what if someone gets injured? And the 3 possibilities, if we're not including Aura as like someone that randomly shows up and becomes a wild card within this confrontation, we have the possibilities of Mutsuki just getting injured, Touka getting injured, Kaneki getting injured, and or just a combination of a few people like with this skirmish, because I cannot see this confrontation between Mutsuki, Kaneki, and Touka ending without some bloodshed in some type of way. And most likely I could see Kaneki maybe not getting injured, but he could be caught off guard by how crazy Mutsuki has gotten, and it's like since he hasn't really seen Mutsuki since the Rue Island arcs, like he still remembers Mutsuki as this very well-mannered, well-behaved QS member of his Q squad, and this whole new persona that Mutsuki has taken upon herself is just something that's very interesting, and it's definitely going to catch Kaneki off guard. But my main possibilities of who I could possibly see getting injured in this confrontation basically comes between Mutsuki and Touka. I think that we're going to get some type of confrontation between those 2 characters. Mutsuki could get injured, and then, you know, Kaneki and Touka end up escaping, and then Mutsuki go back to the chateau, tell how, like, she ended up confronting Heise and got injured, and then the rest of the QS is just basically left with that kind of, like, turmoil. It's like, well, do we still trust Mutsuki? Do we go after Heise? Do we find this, like, a little odd? Like, why did Mutsuki go on by herself? There's a lot of possibilities with that end, but then, what if Touka gets injured during the skirmish? Like, how is Kaneki gonna react if Touka ends up getting injured? Because we already know that Kaneki has been trying to protect Touka with all the missions that Goat has been going on. He's been keeping her off to the side and having like Nishio and Tsukiyama at the forefront while Touka is kept at Cafe Ri, just basically watching from the sidelines. And once he sees if Touka were to get injured, it'd be very interesting to see how Kaneki would react. Like, would he honestly go berserk on Mutsuki? Would he end up just, you know, grabbing Touka and getting out of there? It's going to be very cool to see how Kaneki reacts to this overall situation, because he's dealing with a long-lost friend that he kind of just got reunited with Touka, but then also kind of like a child that he's kind of raised in a way with Mutsuki. So there's that father dynamic, but then there's also that old friend that's now back within his life, where there's some romantic feeling starting to build up between him and Touka. Very interesting to see if, like, how this is going to play out, but my number 4 possibility, this is the darkest possibility that could possibly happen, and I think a lot of people are bracing for this possibility as well, and definitely looking at like the cover page that we got for 122, there have been a lot of death flags for Touka and for this arc in general, and with tragedy known within Tokyo Ghoul, someone is bound to die within these next couple chapters, I believe, and I don't want it to happen. I don't want any of these characters to die, but there is a slight possibility that either Mutsuki or Touka could die either in this upcoming chapter or in a few chapters leading up to the end of this confrontation, or even further on down the road. And there's been a lot of death flags right now, basically building up for Touka, and I know that a lot of people within the Tokyo Ghoul community has been noticing this as well, and if you are a Touka fan, then you are definitely going to be very upset if this is the case. And I would hate to see Touka go out, because Touka is that character that has been with us since chapter 1 of part 1 of Tokyo Ghoul. And just to see her die would be very upsetting for not only me, but I know for a lot of other people as well. But I could say the same thing for Mutsuki as well, because even though Mutsuki has gone a little bit off the rails with the way that Ishida has been taking this character, I have enjoyed the way that Ishida has been developing Mutsuki's character and just peeling back the layers of Mutsuki's character just to reveal the real character within, and that's just so psychotic and broken from her her upbringing. It's very interesting to see where this character has come from, and if Mutsuki was to die as well, I'd be upset with that as well, because wherever she appears on a panel or a page, I'm instantly glued, because I want to know what the hell is going on with Mutsuki's character, what interactions, how she's gonna act. Like, these are just the possibilities. So if someone was to die from this confrontation, it would be like a long time coming, because I feel like with this happy conversation arc that we've had, tragedy is about to strike. I know a lot of people are bracing for the upcoming tragedy, and even though that this is a possibility that I don't want to happen, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the best possible outcome between Mutsuki, Touka, and Kaneki. Something bad is bound to happen, and we're just gonna have to wait to see where Ishida basically takes this story and where he's leading us down this path into the dark abyss, as we're just staring down into the cold, dark tragedy that is Tokyo Ghoul. And now I have a 5th possibility as well, and I actually don't see this happening. It's kind of like on the same level as nothing bad will happen, but what if Mutsuki arrives here, a fight breaks out, but then ends up, you know, like subduing Kaneki, but then capturing or kidnapping Touka in some way? I think that this would be very, very interesting, but knowing how we have seen Mutsuki's character and how she's basically viewed Touka and also has viewed Heise, I don't think that she would have the willpower to maintain herself to not just kill Touka on sight if she was to appear right in front of Mutsuki. So I still find this could be a possibility, but overall I don't think that this is a possibility as well. But these are the 5 right now that I have been thinking about with leading up to chapter 123, and I just really want to hear your guys' thoughts on what I'm basically thinking about for this chapter. Are any of you guys on the same page as me? Do you find any of these, like, you know, unlikely as well? Do you find that there is some, you know, some of these possibilities could actually happen? And what do you guys feel about actually having Aura show up if that theory ends up turning out to be true, and Mutsuki has some backup with her when she's talking with Kaneki and Touka, and then like a fight breaks out and just all mayhem just breaks loose? So guys, I'm leaving it to you guys. Give me your thoughts down in the comments below on what you guys think, like theories and speculations on chapter 123. I am very, very interested to see your guys' take and where you guys can see the story going, like where Ishida could possibly take this overall situation, and I'm just really looking forward to that. So that's going to be the end of this discussion, guys. I really look forward to talking with you guys down in the comments, and if you guys are fans of Tokyo Ghoul and feel like subscribing, feel free to do so. I love talking with you guys down in the comments. It's what makes making these videos so much fun, where I get to interact with other Tokyo Ghoul fans, so that is just overall so much fun. So you guys will see this on Saturday, and then my discussions will come out over the week when we're leading up to chapter 123. But I'm going to end it right here, guys. I hope you guys have a great day, night, wherever you guys may be. It's getting warmer out. We're getting closer to summer, and I hope you guys are just having a great time no matter wherever you guys are. So until you guys see me in my next Tokyo Ghoul discussion video, live reaction, or review, I'll talk with you guys later. All right, guys. See you later.